Good morning, my little friends. So we're going to start today with our problem, and it's not going to be an actual word problem today. Today what we're going to do is we're going to do a little review of some problems that we did before school let out, and then we're going to be turning that into something different during our lesson today. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to draw two lines going down the center of your page, so either a blank piece of paper or your whiteboards. And then what I want you to do is I want you to write these number sentences. 9 plus 5 equals blank, 8 plus 5 equals blank, 7 plus 5 equals blank. And what I want you to do is write them small enough so that you have room to work underneath, but not so small that you can't read it. So give yourself a minute to do that, and then let's begin. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, before we get started, we're going to refresh our memories with our friends of 10. And it's so important that you know your friends of 10, because that's going to help you do these problems a lot quicker. And it's going to help to build what you need to know in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and so on. Okay? So let's take a quick look and read these with me. Okay? Here we go. 0 plus 10 equals 10. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 2 plus 8 equals 10. 3 plus 7 equals 10. 4 plus 6 equals 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. Now notice what happens. Now we've got the switcheroos going on. 6 plus 4 equals 10. 7 plus 3 equals 10. 8 plus 2 equals 10. 9 plus 1 equals 10. And 10 plus 0 equals 10. And I want you to notice something. We've been looking a lot at patterns in our numbers. So I want you to take a look at something. So we have 0 plus 10, okay? We know that equals 10. But look at what happens. 0 goes up to 1, but the 10 goes down to a 9. So the other day what we did was we looked at the balancing act that we have. So let's think about it. So here I have my 10 and here I have my 0, okay? So 10 is going down to 9, and then my 0 is going up to 1. So what's happening is we're balancing out again. So that means my total never changes. So I want you to remember that. But you also need to remember what makes a 10. So let's take a look at what we're going to do today. So we have 9 plus 5. What we're going to do is make a 10 and then add. So let's go over what we used to do. I know that I'm trying to bring the 9 up to a 10. So how many do I have to give from the 5 to the 9? That's right, only 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a caret underneath this 5, because I'm not going to have 5 anymore. I'm going to have 1 here. I always put the 1 closest to the 9 because that's going together. And then how many does that leave me with over here? Well, if I look at this as a number bond, I have 5 and I take 1 away, that should leave me with 4. So I'm going to put 4 right here. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to cross off that 5, because the 5 is not 5 anymore. The 5 is now a 1 plus a 4. What we're going to do is we're going to circle my friend of 10. So I know 9 plus 1 is 10, plus the number I didn't use, which is the 4. So I'm going to circle my 4 and bring it on down. Now, it's easier for me to say 10 plus 4, or 10 4 is, you got it, 14. And I'm going to put the 14 here. Not too bad, right? Now let's look at one where there's an 8. So we're going to try to bring the 8 up to a 10. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to break down the 5. Now, here's the trick. How many do I have to get the 8? I know it's not 1 because 9 needed 1. 8 needs how many? That's it, 2. So, put a 2 here. But here's where you guys always get stumped. What's the other number? And how do you figure it out? Well, there's 2 ways to figure it out. I can punch 2 and count up to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3. Or I can count backwards. 5, 4, 3. I landed on 3. So 3 is going to go here. Now, this isn't a 5 anymore. It's a 2 and a 3. And I'm going to go ahead and circle my friend of 10. So I know 8 plus 2 is 10, plus the number I didn't use, in this case, is a 3. My answer is 13. Okay? You with me? Let's look at our last one. Our last one is 7 plus 5. You guessed it. We're going to break down the 5 again. But in this case, I'm not giving it 1 and I'm not giving it 2. I have to give it 3. 7, 8, 9, 10. It needs 3. So if I give it 3, my question is, how many do I give it here? Well, hopefully some of you are up and awake and paying attention this morning, and you'll notice that it's the opposite of this. So if I had 3 and 2 is 5 here, guess what? It's the same over here. I just flip-flopped them. I have the 2 over here now. 3 plus 2 equals 5. And we're going to cross off the 5 because it's not 5 anymore. It's 3 and 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle my friend of 10, because 7 plus 3 is 10, plus the number I didn't use, and it's going to give me 12. And there's my answer. So the key to this is looking at how many it needs to bring it up to a 10. Now, your lesson for today is going to be using this same procedure. It's just going to be with bigger numbers. So hang on. For part 2 today, we're going to do a little chant, and we're going to do it using our friends of 10. Can you tell? I really think it's important that you know your friends of 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the beat started, and then I'm going to say it, and then I want you to say it after me. Ready? It's going to go something like this. It's going to go clap, slap, slap, clap, slap, slap, clap. Let's get the beat started. 0 plus 10 is 10. You say it. 0 plus 10 is 10. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 9 is 10. 2 plus 8 is 10. 2 plus 8 is 10. 3 plus 7 is 10. 3 plus 7 is 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 plus 5 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. 8 plus 2 is 10. 8 plus 2 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 0 is 10. 10 plus 0 is 10. Did you get it? I thought maybe if we could just get a little beat going to it, it might stick in your head a little bit better. So really, really practice those. What I want you to do is I even want you to take your whiteboards and just write them all out and write them in order, starting from 0 plus 10 and going on down. It's time for our lesson. It's going to be a little tricky today, so I want to make sure that you stay with me. And if you need to stop the video and then replay it if you need to. So I want to review what we did yesterday. Yesterday what we did was we broke our number down into tens and ones and then solved our problem. And I want to just go over that using this example. So yesterday we had something like this, 33 plus 6. So what we did was we broke down our 2-digit number into tens and ones. And I told you if you listen to the sound of the word, you're going to know what to break them down into. I had 33. Hear it? 33. So I broke it down into 30 and then 3. Then what I did was I circled my ones. So I circled the 6 plus 3. So go ahead and write 6 plus 3 equals 9. Now I have to take my ones and add them to my tens. And it's a little easier to do that because we take 30 plus 9. So that 9 actually takes the place of the 0, and my answer is 39. So that's how we did it yesterday, and that's one way to solve problems. Today what we're going to do is we're going to do it the make a 10 way. That's why it was so important for us to do our friends of 10. So watch how we're going to do this. I'm going to build the number 19. So I have a 10 stick and 9 ones, okay? Here's 19. What happens if I want to add 3 to this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my 10 stick here and my 9 ones. And I just said we're going to make a 10. How many more do I need to add to this 9 to make it a 10? That's right. And even if you look and you compare the two, I need 1 more to make a 10. And I know 9 plus 1 equals 10. And then I'm going to have 2 left over. So let's count and see how much I have. So 19 plus 3 is 10, 20, 21, 22. So what I did was I made a 10 to then go ahead and add. And a lot of times it's easier to do it that way. The trick is knowing your friends of 10 and then knowing what the other number is once you make that friend of 10. And I'll explain that in a bit. So let me do another problem with you. What happens if I have the number 29, okay? 10, 20, and then 9, 29. And now I'm going to add 3 cubes to this. So I'm asking you 29 plus 3, okay? Now, again, I have to make a 10. Well, this is already a 10, and this is already a 10. This one is not. So again, I have 9. I'm going to take one of these to make it a 10 because I know 9 plus 1 is 10. And now I still have these 2 left over. So I have 10, 20, 30, 31, 32. So 29 plus 3 is 32. So what I want you to see is this. I can do it with 19, 29. I can make it 39. The way you make a 10 is by taking your ones, combining them so that they make another 10 stick, and then go ahead and count them using your extras. Let me show you how we do that on the board, okay? So what we have here is 19 plus 3. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to draw it using quick tens and ones. And the reason I want to do that first is so that I have an idea of what my answer is going to be, okay? So I have 19. And then I'm going to make my circles. So this is just like we just did using the cubes. And I'm going to count, make sure I got enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you should do that too. When you're drawing 9, sometimes you lose track and you want to make sure you have the right amount there. Okay? So I have 19. Now I have to add 3 more. So here's my 3 more. Well, I know that this is 9 and I need 1 more there. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to draw a line through that because I know I have another 10 stick now. So I have 10, 20, 21, 22. So I believe my answer is going to be 22. Now, watch what we're going to do because this is the tricky part. We're going to try to bring this number up to a 10. Now, I didn't say up to the number 10. I said up to a 10. And think about our 10s. Our 10s are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and it keeps going like that. So any number that you get to when you count by tens is a 10. So what number am I going to try to make this? That's right, I'm going to try to bring it up to the number 20 because 20 is considered a 10. So to do that, I need to break down this number here. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at this ones digit right here. So I want you to think about it. If I have 9, how many do I have to add to 9 to make it another 10? You're right, 1. So I'm going to have 1 here. And then how many is that going to leave me on this side here? Well, I had 3. I took 1 away. That should leave me with 2. Now I don't have that 3 anymore. I just have 1 and 2. Now, just like we did the other way, we're going to actually circle. This is going to be our 10. So I have 19 plus 1 more. Well, let's think about it. 9 plus 1 is 10, and then I have a 10 here. So 1 more than 19 is 20, plus the 2 equals 22. So I believe my answer is 22. Does it match? Absolutely. So that means I have 2 10s and 2 1s. Okay. Now, you might think that this problem is a little harder by doing it this way, but it's actually not. So we're going to draw it. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. Now, again, I'm going to add my 3. I'm going to put 1 here, 1, and then 2, 3, because that now is going to make another 10. So now I have 10, 20, 30, 31, 32. So I'm pretty sure my answer is going to be 32. Now, if you're using your math brains, you're going to say, yep, it is. And why is that? If you said, because I know that 29 is 10 more than 19, and this number is still the same, I know my answer is going to be 10 more. See, that's how I want your brain to start working. I want you to start looking at those patterns. I know I say it over and over and over again, but it's so important that you do that. But let's prove our answer. So again, I need to bring 29 up to a 10. Well, what's the next 10? So let's take a look at our hundreds chart. So if I'm at 29 here, my next 10 is obviously going to be 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the 3 again. Now, again, we're looking at this ones digit. It's a 9. We need to add one more to it. So I'm going to put my 1 here. And again, just like up here, I know that 2 is my other number. So it's not 3 anymore, it's 1 and 2. So now what we're going to do is we're going to circle the 10s. So I have 29 plus 1, which brings me up to my 30, plus the number I didn't use, which gives me 30 plus 2, which is 32. Does it match? Yes, it does. And I have 3 10s and 2 1s. That's how you do the make a 10 way. It's really important that you know 2 specific things. Number 1, you need to know your friends of 10. Number 2, you need to know which 10 you're trying to bring the number up to. And here's the other thing. The numbers might not be ending in 9. It could be 28, it could be 27, it could even be 26. You need to know your friends of 10. Now, let's look at your work for today. So today, you're going to be on pages 51 and 52. Okay? Now 51 is going to be a lot easier than 52 is. So let's take a quick look. So 51, what they want you to do here is to draw quick 10s and 1s. So I have the number 29. So when I draw 29, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my 2 10s, 10, 20, and then our 9 1s. Okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to draw one more. And when I usually draw that one more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make it a little different so I know I can differentiate between the 2 numbers. So watch this. I know there's 9 here and I have to make it a 10. So I'm going to put the 1 right here. So now I know I have another 10. So I have 10, 20, 30. So I think 30 is my answer. And if you look here, I have 3 10s and no 1s. Now, if I look at my hundreds chart just to prove my answer, I had the problem 29 plus 1. Well, if I make one jump, it's 30. So 30 is definitely our answer. Let's look at page 52. We're going to do 2 problems. We're going to do problem number 10 and problem number 11. Now, the reason I'm doing problem number 10 is because it's a little different situation. So we have 17 plus 2. Now 17 plus 2, I want you to think about this. Can I make a 10 with 7 and 2? Those are my 1s. Does that equal 10? You're right if you say no. 7 plus 2 only equals 9. So I can't even build another 10. So I can't do the make a 10 way because I can't make a 10. So let's take a look at this by drawing the quick 10s, okay? So I'm going to build 17. I have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, I need to add 2 to it. And I have room to put the 2 here. I have 1, 2. But guess what? It doesn't make a 10, so I can't draw a line through it. So let's take a look at what I have. I have 1 10, and now I have 9 1s. So my number is 19. My answer is 19. Okay? So you don't always have to use the make a 10 way. They're going to try to trick you. You need to really pay attention. But now let's look at number 11, which is similar, but we have different ones that we're adding. Okay? So now think about it. How many do I need to add to 7 to make a 10? That's right, 3. Well, I have plenty here, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break down the 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be bringing up that 17 to the nearest 20, or I'm sorry, the nearest 10, which is going to be 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I give that 17 3, and then I need to figure out how many I have left. Well, if I punch 3 and count up to 5, 3, 4, 5, I have 2 left. So this isn't a 5 anymore, it's a 3 and a 2. Now I'm going to circle these two numbers here because that's what's going to bring us up to the next 10, which in this case is 20, plus the 2 I didn't use, which is our 1s, so now we have an answer of 22. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make some quick 10s and 1s to prove our answer. So, I need to make 17. So there's my 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, I need to draw my 5. Well, you told me that I need to have 3 more to make it a 10. So 3 of them are going to go over there, but I have to draw 5. Ready? I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now over here I can draw a 10. So now how many 10s do you have? You have 2 10s, and now I have 2 1s. And this 22 matches this 22. Please take it slow and look at the problems that are in front of you. If you have problems, please let us know, and make sure you send your work in to your teachers.